Hello students, I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about some things that I'd noticed in the grading. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for most of you turning things in on time, which saves you point deductions, and it sort of helps me plan for grading. Remember that I'm given about 7 days once you turn assignment in to grade it. I try to have everything graded on the Saturday after things are submitted. Sometimes I usually can grade a little earlier than that, but it's not always the case, so just keep that in mind. Remember that on quizzes you can take your quiz up to 2 times before its due date. After the due date now you can't take it. I'm only going to grade the last quiz that was submitted before the due date, so that's how that works. Discussion board post, your initial post is always due the Friday night of the week that you have one, and your replies are due that Monday. Now, if you're late on one of those, either the replies or the initial post, you can't get credit for them as per our course syllabus. So again, keep in mind the due dates for assignments. Your if you'll notice in the course, you have weekly folders. Those weekly folders contain the additional readings you might have to do, point casts that you might need to view. Also, the assignment details and the assignment rubrics are contained in there. If you would go ahead and make it a habit each week at the beginning of the week or whenever you're ready to start on your next week's work, go ahead and review that folder, reread the assignment details and the rubrics that are going to be used to grade those assignments, so you can have some sort of idea of how I'm going to be grading them and the kinds of things I'm going to be looking for. You know, with discussion board posts, your initial post has to be at least 200 words, your replies have to be 100, and I check that, so make sure that you're following through. You should have citations in those things, and I would strongly suggest that you try to include some of the readings that you're doing in our text. And then if you're doing some outside reading, journal articles, that kind of thing, include those. But for every citation, you need to have a reference for it, unless it's the Bible. Now, the Bible, you don't necessarily have to include it in a reference list, but for everything else, you would need a reference list. In the helpful hints announcements, you will see examples of how to do a journal reference and an example of a book reference. So please look at those. You also have an example of a book reference in the syllabus for our textbook. Now, you need to double check it to make sure that it's following APA 6. The university is using the 6th edition of APA, and so there are some minor differences. I've made note of that in some of your papers. There are no retrieval dates that are used in APA 6, and in APA 5 there were. So just be mindful of that, and look at the handouts that I've given you, the sample APA paper. Look in the body of the paper how they do their citations. Look at their reference list, how they do their reference, and sort of copy yours. It's very important that you try your best to include title pages for each of the papers you turn in, summaries, um, article summary. Any kind of paper that you submit should have a title page. Now, you don't have to do that for your bulletin board posts, discussion posts. You don't have to have title pages or make attachments. You can just type everything in there. But for your summaries, your philosophy paper that's coming up, all those things, you need a title page. The final exam is graded heavily toward APA. I want you to get used to it now so that it won't be such a shock then and you lose a lot of points for not having followed through and learned. If you take into account the kinds of things I'm telling you about APA as I grade your papers, you'll get better and better and better at it. It takes time. It's like everything else. It takes time to learn. So if you're attempting to do it, things will be much better for you now and in the long run. Don't forget that you can't do well on the quizzes unless you do your reading. The announcements that are posted each week give you a bird's eye view of what's happening for the coming week. But remember, the details are in the weekly folders as it relates to your assignments, and you should go there and read them. I'm praying for you. I wish you the very best. If you need me, send me a text message, send me an email. I'll try to get right back with you to let you know. But the expectations are that you would make sure that you're writing properly. If I've made notes in your grading about your writing, then I expect you to either follow through with attempting to do better or seek assistance from the Writing Center. everything you write as a teacher is going to be graded through the lens of the public's view of us as educators. So we need to make sure that we're doing our best there. A lot of grammatical errors is just not going to cut it in your discussion board posts or in your papers. So please make sure that your writing is up to collegiate level. I'm praying for you. I wish you the best. If you need me, send me an email again or text me if you like. But God bless you. May He bless the work of your hands. Many of you are doing excellent work, and I appreciate that. Those of you that might need extra assistance, send me a message. Let me know. Thank you, and have a great day.